Hey, welcome back. So this one is Robert Johnson style blues. So we're taking a lot of the main riffs that he's used around in a lot of songs, and this one is based around the song Sweet Home Chicago. So let's jump in and talk about the main parts. So in this song, we're going to actually have two turnarounds, and the turnaround usually is placed at the end of the song, but a lot of times in blues, some players will put the turnaround right at the beginning of the song, like an intro. And that's what we do here, and that's what he's playing when he plays this part. Okay, that is a really common intro that he does. Sometimes he'll do it in different keys and different spots. Okay, you've heard a lot of other players do this, I'm sure. It's really common, and it's one of his trademarks. So in this one, it's in the key of E, so that means that our pinky will fall on the note E on the 12th fret of the E string. The third finger is going to take the 12th fret of the D string, and that's the note that's going down. So the top string is playing like this. Okay, just that same note over and over again. While that's playing, you're going to pinch the thumb on that D string while it's descending down. So 12, 11, 10, 9. Okay, right after he plays that, he goes into a B7 chord. So, and then he plays like a little triplet, 2 and 3, 4. Okay, you can come up with your own rhythm there. Just make sure that it hits that B7 chord before we start the shuffle. So that's the next thing that we're going to talk about. The entirety of the song, besides the riffs and the turnaround, is a basic 12-bar blues shuffle. So what is that? It's just this shuffle. We've seen this before, okay? And we're following that 12-bar blues, meaning we're going to start on E. The first 4 bars are going to be E, A, E, E. The second set of 4 bars are going to be A, E, E. The last set of 4 bars are going to be B, A, E, and then back to a B7 again. So that's the standard shuffle, and we're going to be playing over the E, this phrase that's 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4. Now I'm saying those frets on the A string. So the A string is playing like this. 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4. So it's just 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4. Okay, the same thing on the A, except over the A7 chord, in this case, we're going to actually do a different type of shuffle where we go up to the 5th fret. Okay, it gives a nice cool harmony on that part. Sounds like this. Okay, and for all those parts, I'm just using my thumb, okay, in this fashion. Okay, trying to make those notes short by palm muting a bit instead of. Okay, if it's really long, it loses the effect. It doesn't sound terrible, but it's not the same effect. What we want is these nice short notes. Okay, so how do you do that with the palm mute? We're going to take this part of our palm right here, and we're just going to karate chop down on the strings right next to the bridge. So if you're more than an inch past the bridge in that direction, it's going to totally mute the strings, where there's going to be like hardly any sound at all. We need to get really close to that bridge within an inch. So where our palm is touching on that bridge, it's literally within an inch of this bridge right there, and then it gives a nice muffled sound like that. We call that palm muting. Okay. One of the other significant phrases that happens in this song is we have over the E chord, we have this little phrase. So I'll play the whole thing, and it'll sound like this. Okay, again. Here comes the riff. Now that riff is kind of tricky, and I want to show you what's happening here. What happens is we have this, that's the riff, but it comes in the middle of this phrase. Okay, so you have this effect where it sounds like this never really stopped playing because our thumb is still hitting this rhythm on the E string. So let's look at that exact phrase. So we're going to take our first finger and we're going to bar it here on the 2nd fret of the D and the G strings, the 2 middle strings. And we're going to play this phrase. So pluck the finger on the G string, thumb on the D string, okay, and then we're going to play that phrase. So after that, We're going to pluck the index finger on G, open, hammer on with our first finger of the left hand, and then resolve to this E string by itself. So altogether it's... All right. Now with that, we need to have the thumb hitting on this note. Okay, on those two notes. So where we have the open, hammer on, and then again when we pluck our third finger on the high E string. So altogether it'll sound like this. Okay, right after that phrase, we'll go really slow. Right after we hit that E string, we're going to get back into that shuffle by getting our third finger on the 4th fret of the A string, and then continue with our shuffle. By getting our third finger back on the 4th fret of the A string, and then continuing with that shuffle. Okay, it sounds like this. Really slow. I'll slow it down as much as I can. I'd recommend practicing this by itself for a week or so before you move on to the entire blues. Another significant thing that you want to notice here is when we're changing chords doing the shuffle, oftentimes people will do this type of kind of rake on the open strings. Now, if you studied with me before, you'll know that I always call that a cheater strum, because it feels like it's kind of cheating because it's giving yourself an 8th note time to switch from one chord to the next chord. In this case, it's just going from E to A. Now that's the cheater feel. It feels like you're cheating, but actually it sounds cool is the reason why people do it. They do it because it's easier, but now it's part of the culture of playing, and you need to add that to your playing as well. So let me demonstrate that. So on measure 2 of where it actually starts, so measure 2 going into the A7, going into the E7 chord, we have something that sounds like this, really slow. Okay, see what I did there? On that last one, on the last stroke, I'm just strumming the open strings before I go to the next chord. Okay, you can add those all the time. It's really something very easy to add into your playing. It makes it actually sound like you're doing something extra when really you're actually taking something away. You're making it sound, you're making the chord change much easier. So that's the point of that. So let's go through that second turnaround. So we talked about the first turnaround. Let's go through the second turnaround. So we're actually going to back it all the way up to the A7 phrase, which sounds like this. Okay, let's talk about that phrase too. So first we're just going to hit this A, make it short, and then come up here and play the 7th and 8th fret. Okay, on the E and B strings, okay? And when we're playing these, you're just gonna play that 4 times like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. But make sure that when you're playing it, you're giving it a little bit of attitude by kind of bending those notes. Not too much, but just kind of giving it a hint of, okay? It gives it kind of more attitude, and it's a cool section of the song. It gives it some tension before the release of. Okay, so altogether it sounds like this. Okay, cool. So right after that we do kind of a more traditional style turnaround where we're basically sliding this shape up. So now I'm on the 4th fret of the G string, 3rd fret of the B string, okay? And we're essentially kind of doing this. Okay, sliding that shape down and alternating the E string. But we varied that just a little bit. The first time we're going to play it like this, okay, just to give it some variation. The second time we're going to just alternate. So we went from here, arpeggio that. Second time, together. Third time, just totally by itself, no high E string. And then the 4th time we're going to do this. Okay, so it's kind of like that phrase, but we're going back down this one. Right after we play that, we go into that B7 triplet that we've seen before. Okay, so all together from that A7 sounds like this. And then you would start over. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to do a very slow playthrough at 60 beats per minute. So if you'd like to try to play along at this speed when you're learning this song, this is a good speed to start at. 3 3, 4, 1. Okay, then that's where you would start it over again. That's it for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.